welcome to the screencast. This one's on graphs and box plots. So hopefully you get a lot out of this. They seem quite complicated, but I promise you, once you work out what you're doing, it's not a problem at all. So what is a box plot? Here goes an example. We've got a box and some whiskers, and that's why we've also known them as box and whisper graphs. The information that we need is the min amount, the max amount, the median, so we need to learn how to find the median if we don't already. And then we've got our lower quartile and our upper quartile. But do not worry about those. They're really easy to find. We just need to remember the formula to work that one out. So we're going to give it a go now. I'm going to show you. Here's a list of data. Now all this data is you know, we've weighed 15 children. Here goes their weights. So we've got someone weighing 37 kgs, someone weighing 42 kgs, someone weighing 31, so forth and so on. Now, normally with data, we might find out these types of averages. We might find the range, the mode, the median, the mean. Now, we ideally want to know how to find all those, but the ones that we really need is our maximum, our minimum, our maximum, our median, right? And those are the ones that we need. Now to do that, you'll notice that I've had to list the data in order of smallest to largest, because that's really going to help me find the lowest amount, the highest amount, and obviously the median, which is the middle number. So hopefully you remember how to find that, but if you don't, I would just cross off from outside in until I get that middle number. I'm just going to do this now, nice and steady. Okay, and then you can see there that I've got 41. So that is my median. Now you should already know how to do that. So if you don't know how to do that, go and watch the videos on that. But that's not where it stops, because what we've got is we've got our whiskers, but we don't have our box. To find our box is actually really simple. We're going to find our lower quartile and our upper quartile, okay? So to find the lower quartile, all you're going to do is you're going to remember this formula. So I definitely pause the video and write this formula down now. So we've got a quarter of n plus 1, or n plus 1 and a quarter of that. Now, you might be sitting there and saying, well, what does n stand for? N stands for the number of numbers in our sequence of numbers. So on here, we've got 15 numbers. So what I would do is I'd say 15 plus 1, that's 16. What's a quarter of 16? Okay, so a quarter of 16 is 4. So the fourth item along is going to be our lower quartile. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 35 will represent our lower quartile, okay? So now let's look at the upper quartile. So it's exactly the same formula, apart from this time it's 3/4 of. So remember, n stands for the number in our number of numbers in our sequence. We've got 15, so it's going to be 15 plus 1, and then we're going to find 3/4 of that, and that gives us 12. Okay, so we'd count along 12 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we could say there that our upper quartile amount is 48. Now that we've got all that, we're just going to use it to create the information that we've got. We worked out that the lower quartile was 35 kgs, the upper quartile was 48 kgs. We've worked out the min, the max, and the median. Now we're going to draw our box and whisper graph. So we've got our line along here. We can see that the min is set at 28, the max is set at 63, we've got the median set at 41, the lower quartile set at 35, and the upper quartile set at 48. And that's how we draw these box and whisper graphs. Not too difficult, I hope, just that little bit of information about how to find the lower quartile and the upper quartile, but I'm sure you'll get there very quickly. So you can see here I've done you a favor. I've already put them in order from smallest to largest. Okay, so I want you to give it a go drawing it yourself. Even if you can't draw it all, do your best to draw out as much as you can. So pause the video now, give it a go, come back and see if you're on the right track. All right, everyone, hopefully you've found that one nice and easy. So we should need to identify our minimum, which is 8, our maximum, which was 35, and our median, the middle number, which is 16. So now we've got this, and we've got this, okay? So we could probably start with that, and then we could worry about the box going around it in a minute. But let's go and do that now. Our lower quartile, how many numbers did we have in it? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we've got 15 numbers. So plus 1, which gives us 16. Yeah. And we're going to find 1/4 of 16, which is 4, or the fourth number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So our fourth number there is 14. We're going to find the upper quartile, which is exactly the same, but this time we're finding 3/4 of 16, which gave us 12. So we're going to count 12 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that gives us 22. And then we would draw the graph from there. So we've got all our details there. Now we're going to draw the graph. So here we go. 8 is going to be around about here. So our min, our max is going to be set at 35. Our median's at 16. And then we've got our lower quartile at 14 and our upper quartile at 22. Now you might notice it's not an exact science, so it's really important that we list all our details here. We might not be able to show them perfectly on the graph, okay, but we can list them. That will be really important if we want full marks. The other thing to mention is the interquartile range. So how big is it from here to here? What's the difference between this amount and this amount? So if someone asks you what was the interquartile range, then we could say, okay, got 22, take away 14, and that will give us our interquartile range. Okay, so moving on now. Give these a go. Again, I've put them in order from smallest to largest. Set your min, your max, your median, your lower quartile and your upper quartile. Write it all down and then draw your graph. Pause the video and give it a go now. Okay, so we're back from that. Let's give it a go. Our minimum amount was 40, our maximum amount was 130, and our median was 90. Okay, so we've got those. Now our lower quartile. So how many numbers did we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to add 1 to that, 8. What is 1/4 of 8? And that's our second term, which is 80. And what's 3/4 of 8? It's our sixth term, which is 120. So now we've got all our information. We can draw that graph out. Min's going to be at 40. Max is going to be at 130, which is here. The median's going to be at 90. So that's going to be really clear. We've got 80 and 120, and we can really put this in nicely on our graph, can't we? And that's what it will look like. All right, so hopefully you've done really well there. It's now time for the quiz. So pause the video, give it a go, come back when you think you've got it right. So again, I've been really kind. I've put them in rank order for me from smallest to largest. I've even given you the number, which is 23 boys. Take a maths test, so we should be able to find all those details. So here we go. Fingers crossed you've done it really well. We've got our min amount, which is 7, our max, which is 91. We've got our median, which is 46, and then we've got our upper and lower quartiles there. So hopefully you've done really, really well there. I'm sure that you have. But if you haven't, it's really important that you don't give up. You go back and watch the video. You give the same questions a go. It will sink in, I promise you that. Obviously, writing a revision card or asking for a copy from me is beneficial. And as always, it's been a pleasure helping you with your maths today. I really hope you got something out of it and that you'll go on and be successful at the old box and whisper graphs.